This is Algebra 1, Semester 2. It's the third unit called Quadratics. It's the fourth lesson called Factoring ax squared plus bx plus c practice. And copy the following problems into your composition book on the correct pages according to the table of contents with the notes for these pages. Please follow these directions, and it's from creatormath.com under the Algebra tab. Make sure you've got the notes. It's in a separate file there. In the table of contents you click on, open up, you'll see a picture of the notes that you put into your composition book on the correct pages. So we are factoring. That's the reverse of the distributive property. We're starting at the finished product here, a quadratic. It's raised to the power 2. That's what a quadratic is. And we're going back to the factored form. The factored form in this case would be two binomials with a lead term out here on this one, and some lead terms buried within this. Because this is Algebra 1, we are not going to get too complicated into factoring. This is as complicated as we're going to get. And this one requires multiple steps in terms of I'm going to suggest students use these answers to figure out how the factoring goes. I'm not sure you need to know too rigorously until you get to Algebra 2, when you'll do a lot of these, and then you're going to worry about some other methods. So starting with this one, I don't know if we can see, but it does look like there is possibly a 9 buried in here, right? But does 9 divide by 60? No, but 3 does. 3 divides by 36, 3 divides by 60, and 3 divides by 9. So if I pull out, now looking at the negatives too, I don't like a negative lead term, so if I can get rid of that, I'm going to try to. I'm going to pull a negative 3 out of each of these terms. So negative 9 divided by negative 3 is 3x squared remains. Negative 60x divided by negative 3 changes our sign, gives us 20. And minus 36 divided by 3 gives us 12 and changes the sign too. Now we're moving to a little bit simpler form. We're asking what two numbers, when multiplied by each other, equal 12. And I think we're going to cheat a little bit here. We're going to start to come over to the answers and go, oh, is there 2 and a 6? I like those right off the bat, right? So if I keep the negative 3 out here, and I go to my binomial setup, I know I'm going to have a 2 and a 6 in here, and I like positive, and I like that this is positive, so I would try to keep them both positive at first. And we may do some iterative attempts at this. So let's just think if we multiplied 2 times 6, we get 12. If we did have, let's put an x and an x in here, we'd get x squared. So I don't know that. One of these has got to have a 3 on it. I don't know which one. Let's try it in both places. Let's put the 3 here first. 3x, when you multiply out here, is going to be 6x, and this is going to be 6x. When you add those, that would be 12x. That's not 20. So I need a larger number. So I want my 3 to multiply by my larger number. I'm going to try the 3 here. 3 times 6 is 18x. 2 times x is 2. 18 and 2 is 20. So that does match. So I start to like this format, and notice I'm sort of doing a trial and error method. I'm looking for negative 3 up front, x plus 6, that matches, and 3x plus 2 here. Also in Algebra, I think I'm using these to help me a little bit too. I'm not just going that rigorous. I'm going to just go back into this. Well, looking at my answers and looking at this, I do see some with a 4 pulled out front. Can I pull a 4 out of a 15 though? Look, 4 can be divided into 16 evenly. 4 can be divided into a negative 8 evenly, but 4 cannot be divided into a 15. So I don't like these initially. I'm not happy with those at all. I'm much more likely to try these other two. I do have a negative middle term, which means I need something negative in there. Right? They're using an n. I'm tempted to change it to x because my n's don't look very good. So I do like a negative. Let's see. I need one of these be, so I need a negative here. Let's try a negative. Let's try to do it wrong. Negative 3 and a positive 5. Will that produce a negative 15? Yes. I'm going to run into trouble in the middle here, though. And how about a 16x? Well, let's drop in 4x and 4x. Let's try a few things. All right, so 4x and 4x is a 16x squared. I like that. That matches. If I multiply the middle terms, though, negative 3 times 4x is a negative 12x. This would be a positive 20. If I took positive 20x minus 12x, I'd be at a positive 8n. So what I really don't like is, it looks like I've got things going in the right direction, but I don't like the signs. I would be tempted to make this into the positive, okay, and make this into the negative. Now let's try that. So I get 16x squared still in the front, that stays the same. I get a negative 15 on the tail, that's good. Now let's go, and the inside is 12x minus a 20x. So minus 20x plus 12x is minus 8. So I'm liking this one, 4x plus 3. Let's match it up. 4n plus 3, there you go. And 4n minus 5. There you go, those are my two. This one's a lot more trial and error, and a lot more running through FOIL, trying different answers and then running through FOIL. And I would be tempted, right, if this gets complicated for me, I would be tempted to try, so let's do this one. They pull a 4 out in some of these answers. Do I have a 4 I can pull out of 20? Yes. How about 21n? No, a 4 does not divide into 21 evenly, or 5. So I don't like either of these. I like these two. I would be tempted to do the reverse. Let's just FOIL this. This is 4n times 5n is 20n squared. Outside is a 4n plus 4n. Inside is minus 25n. This last term is minus 5 times positive 1 is minus 5. So in this case, I've got minus 25n plus 4 is a minus 21n. I have a minus 5 on the tail, that still matches, and a 20n squared here. So I would be tempted to use FOIL on these different answers and just go through them. That might be easier for me than to reverse into this answer and factor. Right? And you're going to learn maybe some better methods in Algebra 2, but I'm going to leave that until then. All right, let's see what we can do. Does 2 divide into all these evenly? No. Gone, gone. Let's FOIL this. 2x times x is 2x squared. Outside is 1 times x is plus x. Inside is 6x, which is 3 times 2x. 3 times 1 is last, plus 3. This is 7x in the middle, plus 3. All right, so easy for me because I know the right answer to begin with. Let's see this one. Does 6 divide into this? Yeah, 6 divides into this one 90 times. Yeah, so 6 times 9 is 54, and there's a 0 there. So a 6 divided by 540 would be 90. So I like pulling a 6 out of this first. Right? Once I pull the 6 out, I'm getting rid of these. And then I would be tempted to just go ahead and FOIL these. Let's FOIL the wrong one. Right? So this would be v squared. Outside is minus 10v. Inside is plus 9v. Last is minus 90. When these combine, a minus 10 plus a 9 would be a minus x in the middle. Oops, v. You see my v's and my x's, everything starts to get mixed up. I like to stick with x for that reason, because I just start writing weird things. Minus 90. Right? Is this our original? Well, if this were all multiplied by 6, you would have a minus 6v here in the middle, right, when this multiplied through. So I would be tempted to reverse the signs. Instead of v plus 9, I'm going to reverse it to v minus 9, and I'm going to go with this one. So it looks like we might be pulling a 4 out, or an 8. Does 8 pull out of 32? Yes. Does 8 pull out of 8? Yes. But does 8 divide into negative 60 evenly? No. So I don't like the 8s. Gone. Let's pull 4s out. If you divide each of these terms by 4, what do you get? You put a 4 here. Oops. Let's do it a little bit slower. Let's go 8x squared divided by 4 leaves you with 2x squared. Yes, I'm going to convert it as I go. Minus 60x divided by 4 leaves us with minus 15x. And minus 32 divided by 8 leaves us with minus 4. Right, so we're down to this one. Now I'd kind of look in the middle here and see how these middle terms play out. This is going to be 16x minus x would be 15x. So I don't like that one. This would be a minus 16x plus 1. Right? And I'm looking for minus 15, just so you know. I'm not focusing on this one, I'm focusing on this one over here, just so you know. So I've got a minus 16x plus x would leave me with a minus 15x. All right, that's why I'm going with this one. Can I pull anything out of this? Let's see, I'm not able to pull a 4 out of 6 or a 4 out of 5, so I don't like these. This makes it a little bit easier. Let's just go through the different ones. Maybe I guess right, I'm down to 2, right? It would be 8n squared. I like that. Inside would be 10n minus 4n would be 6n. I like that. And minus 5 on this one. I like this one. 8, factor the following polynomial completely. 5, 22. I'm not pulling 5s out of a 22. Gone, gone. I'm going to check. Let's check the wrong one this time. And let's look at the middle term, right? A 5 times 5n is a 25n. A minus 3n. So 25n minus 3n is 22n. But notice I said positive. This is negative. So this one's out also. Got to be this one. Just to check it, negative 25n plus 3 takes you to a negative 22n. That's good. Negative 5 times a positive 3 is a 15. N times 5n is 5n squared. So notice I'm doing FOIL almost quicker and quicker, right? I'm just running through FOIL repeatedly. By the time you do 10 of these problems, you're going to get good at FOIL, which you already have practiced with in prior lessons. Factor the following polynomial completely. Can I pull a 5 out? No, 5 doesn't come out of here. Gone, gone. Let's go ahead and just try this one. Say we guess right. Let's do the middle term here. Let's focus on. So 7 times 5n is 35n minus 15n. So 35n minus 15n is a positive 20n, so it's this one. And if we had done it wrong, we would have said a negative 35n plus 15n. Negative 35n plus 15n would be a negative 20n. So this one's out because it would have produced a negative here. Factor the following completely. Looks like we're pulling something out. Can we pull a 12 out of all the terms? Well, can you pull a 12 out of a 32? Nope. So gone. Get rid of the 12s. Looks like I'm pulling a negative 4 out. So if you divide each of these terms by negative 4, negative 36 divided by negative 4 is 9. I'm going to switch it to x's squared. Negative 24 divided by a negative 4 gives you a positive 6x. 32 divided by a negative 4 is a negative 4 times 8. There we go. And let me move this parentheses over a little bit. All right, so then we're looking at these. If we pull the 4 out, now we're looking for this middle term. Let's say we guessed wrong and we went down here. This would be 2 times 3n is a 6n. A minus 12n plus a 6n would be a minus 6n, or x in this case, right? So I know it's this one because now I can do it again. Negative 2 times negative 3 is a negative 6 plus 12. So 12 minus 6 is a positive 6. Got to be this one. A little bit rough. Try them out. Go through them yourself. This one I'm not sure I can show you too much. Just go through the trial and error steps and keep plugging through them and keep reversing out the FOIL and going forward and backward until you get to the right answer that you can check through FOIL. And you're remembering things like just distribution property means that this is being multiplied by all those terms in the statement. That's how we went from this to this to this. It's on creatormath.com. It's under the Algebra tab. Make sure you're in semester 2 and match up this title completely right here.